Hi, everyone. I'm Sage Hill, and welcome to the Soulcial Sage. Today, I'm going to talk about how to break the cycle of toxicity within your family. I am just coming off of having done an episode about family dynamics and how, particularly within the Black community, we seem to have so many instances of families that are splintered and split, families who don't really keep in touch with each other, who it's generally left up to one or two people in the family to try and keep in contact with other people. But in general, we just all go on with our individual lives, often to the demise of our family structures. I will say that I do speak specifically to communities of color because I come from a community of color. I'm a Black female, but I do understand that there are other communities that experience the same types of issues, the same family dynamics that are dysfunctional or splintered, or in a state that they may feel is literally a state of disrepair. But today I want to talk about breaking that cycle. And there are several things that you can do for yourself, for your own mental health, that will help to free you from those chains, if you will, those bonds that are not healthy for you. This is October, and we are coming up on the holiday season really soon. And many of you know that with the holiday season comes some anxiety about, in many cases, spending time with your family, whether that's your family through birth, your family through marriage. It can be a time of high anxiety and stress for many people because of the family dynamics. So let's talk about that. I think that it's often difficult for us to really speak our minds and say how we really feel when it comes to our families. We may have broached conversations in the past about how maybe we felt or we were made to feel when growing up or while growing up, but many times those feelings are dismissed by the very people that you need to hear you the loudest and the most clearly. But that doesn't mean that there's no hope, right? There is hope because you have the power to take back your life, and you own how you allow others to treat you. So I'm going to start by talking about the first thing that you can do in terms of breaking that cycle of toxicity. One of the first things that you can do is to advocate for yourself. You have to stand up for yourself. You have to speak up for yourself. You are your best advocate. And here's the thing. People only treat you the way you allow them to treat you. So if you just take the easy road and walk away all the time, or internalize everything that's been said to you, or internalize the way that you may feel dismissed by people in your family, you're not doing yourself a service. In fact, you're doing yourself a disservice. You have the right as an adult to advocate for yourself, to speak up for yourself. And that leads me to item number 2. You have to be not only your best advocate, but you have to learn how to encourage yourself. Many people don't have people in their lives, unfortunately, who will encourage them. You may have, a friend or two that, will tell you things that you need to hear and that will help you see yourself in a different light, especially if you were raised in a family where negativity was king and the most that you ever really heard about yourself was something negative. But you have to take the time to get to know yourself and to understand that, as I say all the time, you are enough. You are enough. And a part of advocating yourself is encouraging yourself. And in encouraging yourself, you have to sometimes tell yourself the very opposite thing that you're from what you're hearing, from what other people are telling you. One of the things that I talk about here on the Soulcial Sage is being transparent, being authentic, and being true to yourself. And as I share things with you, I'm sharing them from my experiences with the hope that you can use something that I've said to propel you, to motivate you to move forward and to start to see yourself in a different light. Growing up as a child, I grew up in a very strict household. My father was actually my adopted father. He adopted me after he married my mother. He grew up with a very angry father, and I believe that a lot of that anger showed up in his DNA, to be quite honest. I think it was just a part of who he was, by and large, for the majority of his life, but more so during his younger adult life. It wasn't until he was literally 65 years old, and I remember this like it was yesterday, that he apologized to me for the way that he had treated me as a child. And that meant a lot to me because here's the thing, there's so many people that never hear an apology. There's so many people that have been treated badly by their family members and in some cases their own parents, and they never hear an apology. So that meant a lot to me that he was able to apologize and to say that, he was afraid. He wanted me to turn out to be a very productive citizen, to be, happy and to have a good life. But because of what he had been shown, as much as he did not want to be like his father, unfortunately, that was all he knew. So growing up, I had to encourage myself because for the smallest things, whether it was having wrote a note to a friend and we were sharing our thoughts about a boy or just anything, just things that kids do, right? Getting a satisfactory on my report card in citizenship, which is what most everyone got, I would be beaten for that. Those small things that people would think were not important really were of extreme importance to him. And those very same things were of extreme importance apparently to his father as well. But suffice it to say that during those times that I was punished, it was not just the beating. That was the easy part. It was what came after that, the isolation, having to stay in my room all day for weeks at a time, only coming out to go to school and to eat meals. But even worse was having to write things over and over again, generally 1,000 to 1,500 times. And depending on the infraction, if I told a mistruth, I would have to write, I am a liar, 1,500 times. A note where I talked about a boy, I am a slut, 1,500 times. But as I was writing those things, I would say, I am not a slut. I am not a liar. Because that is what I needed to do to encourage myself. Those same things that I wrote would be pasted all around my room, on my desk, on my mirror, on my closet doors. Any and everywhere that I looked in my room, I would see those, what I will call disaffirmations. But I turned those things into affirmations for myself. I had an aunt who once sent me a poem. Jesse Jackson had written a poem, gave a famous speech called I Am Somebody. And knowing that she saw the sadness in my eyes, that she understood that something was not right in my household, she sent me that poem as encouragement. If I could encourage myself through that as a child, you can certainly encourage yourself now. Whatever people who are demeaning you or doing a disservice to you by speaking to you with a level of toxicity and negativity, whatever they say, you need to flip it. If they're telling you that you're not something, you need to tell yourself that you are, in fact, more than something. That is, again, why I keep reminding you that you are enough, because you are. You absolutely are. So encourage yourself by speaking words of affirmation and love and light into your own spirit. Because the more that you repeat those things, the more that you will start to believe them. There is a scene, in fact, several scenes in the series Being Mary Jane, wherein Gabrielle Union would take the Post-it notes and she would have them all over her home. If that's what it takes, do that. Because you need to be able to be equipped with the affirmations internally so that not only can you encourage yourself, but you can advocate for yourself. So the first one is to advocate for yourself. The second one is to encourage yourself. And the third one is to set boundaries. There comes a point in time in your life where you have to decide what you are willing to entertain when it comes to your family. If you are accustomed to going around your family and having someone have something negative to say about whatever it is that you're doing, you have to set boundaries with those people. You have to decide when enough is enough, and you need to let them know what you will and what you will not tolerate. For example, if you're coming to visit, but every time you come to visit, all you're hearing about is why you're not doing something that they feel like you should be doing, or and that's not something that is what you want to do, or if you're constantly hearing about how one person in your family is doing so much better than you, or they're so much better than you, or why can't you be like this person? That's where you draw the line. And perhaps you say something like this: you know, I can appreciate the fact that you are proud of so and so, but what I won't accept is the comparison, because I'm not her. I'm not him. They're not me. I'm my own person. I choose how to live my life, and how I live my life, that's on me. And what I need for you to do is to acknowledge that and respect that, and show me the same respect that I show to you, because I deserve it. And if you can't do that, then we can't have the same type of relationship. That's simple. What is it that you want? Not what you don't want. Because you see, it's the things that you need that you have to speak. Speak those things. Those are your boundaries. Number 4, find a new support system. For every toxic family member that you can encounter, I'm sure that you encounter other people, many of whom may be complete strangers, but there's something about you that they see that's special. They see something special in you. They have no problem complimenting you. Take that. And when you have friends who are supportive of you, surround yourself with those people. Find a new support system and make sure that you're just as supportive of them as they are of you, because it must be reciprocal. You can find people who see the best in you and who will tell you just how special they think that you are. Now, that doesn't mean that, you're always going to be just every time you go around your friends that they are just encouraging you and just saying all these wonderful things. Let's be realistic. But sometimes you need someone to listen to what you have to say. But you have to be very careful with whom you share those things that are important to you, or that are bothering you, because you need to know that the person or the people that you're sharing this information with have your best interest in mind. And when you find those people, those are the people that will tell you the truth. And they will tell you the truth about your situation, not just based upon their experiences, but based on what they know about you. Hold on to that, and hold on to those people. The next item, number 5, this can be the most difficult, and I call it busting the bubble. You do not have to stay. You do not have to wallow in. You do not have to linger in that same toxic environment. No one is holding you hostage at this stage of the game. You are an adult. You have free will. You can come and go as you please. So even when you have advocated for yourself and you've encouraged yourself and you've set boundaries and you've surrounded yourself with a proper supportive support system, if you're still going around your family members, particularly around the holidays, and you have some anxiety or angst about even doing so, you have those things that you have in your toolbox. But the other thing that you have, you have the blessing of your presence. Because for you to be present in that situation that you already know has some toxic elements to it, that's a blessing. Your presence is a blessing. And just as easily as you have brought that blessing to the table, you can take that blessing away and walk out the door. Your presence, you own that. And you do not have to stay in an environment that is toxic to your mental health. And that makes me want to go back, just because I said that, to the whole idea of that support system. Yes, it's important to have friends that support you, but it's also important that you invest in yourself through counseling. Seek out a counselor. Seek out a therapist. There are a number of resources, many of which you will find in the details section of this podcast for you to reach out to. If you are employed, and even if you haven't taken advantage of the medical benefits, you still have other benefits that are available to you. Most employers have a EAP program. Employee Assistance Program is what that stands for. And generally within any EAP program, you get so many sessions of free counseling. It comes with a telephone number. You can call 24 hours a day, and you can set up sessions with a professional, generally at least 6. There are things out there that are available to you in terms of other support for you that you have access to, but oftentimes we just don't know about it. So don't negate the support that you can receive through therapy and counseling. There is nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean that there is something wrong with you. In fact, it means that you just recognize that you need some more tools. You need to be equipped with a new way of thinking about things that can help you get through this particular situation. And last but not least, determine what a safe, loving relationship looks like to you, what that means for you. And once you've made that determination, then it will be so much easier for you to be able to put all of these steps into action. Toxic families are a reality. It's sometimes the people that we grow up with, the people that we expect should be loving unconditionally, that just don't have the capacity to do that. At least not for us, and probably not even for themselves. Most people, most families that have this level of toxicity, trust and believe it has been going on from generation to generation. But you can be the one that breaks that cycle, even if it's just for yourself. Because if you can do it for yourself, then you will be able to not only break that cycle in terms of how you receive, or in fact refuse to receive, that level of toxicity in your life, because again, you're pursuing peace. But when you have your family, you will not allow your family to be exposed to that toxicity. And you will not bring that toxicity to your family. You won't display the same behaviors and attitudes and criticisms. You won't visit that upon your immediate household the way that it was visited upon you. Someone has to break the cycle. Why not let that person be you? I'm Sage Hill. And again, you've been listening to the Soulcial Sage. I invite you to post a comment about your experiences with family toxicity. And if there's any topic that you'd like to hear me discuss, feel free to list that as well. And as always, please like and subscribe to this channel. Thanks for listening. As always, it's been a pleasure, my treasures. Have a great day.